But for a 2-day period, what happened in 2018 stayed in 2018. So it's just a big fat ball of stress mess. And oh my God, I have a child and I'm 17. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Mercedes. I am 22 years old. I am married. I have 4 little boys. I have a almost 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old. I am currently 33 weeks pregnant with my first little girl. She's due in the middle of February and it is my last baby. I live in Las Vegas. Let's see, I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of an introduction because I know I have a lot of new subscribers and I want you guys to know a little bit about me before I just go on with this life update. My husband currently works out of state. He's gone for 2+ months at a time. I am a stay-at-home mom and you're probably wondering, oh my gosh, how are you 22 with 5 kids? You're probably wondering how I do it because that's the question that I get asked the most. So if you would just subscribe to my channel, you will soon find out. You will follow my journey and you will see how I do it. Some days are easier than others, but for the most part, I've got this. So like I said, my husband works out of state. He works over 1,000 miles away. A lot of people ask me what he does. He works in the oil fields and I can't tell you much more than that because I don't know much more than that. But he will be home when I am 39 weeks pregnant, if I can make it to 39 weeks, because I am currently having some complications with my pregnancy, which you guys will see in my 33-week pregnancy update. A lot of you who already watch my channel already know that I took my 16-year-old sister in about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and she just recently moved back to her house, so she is no longer here. She's no longer helping me. There's that. However, my husband had to leave back to work after the holidays, and let me just tell you, I was a big, fat, depressed mess. And so my grandma, she very kindly offered to come stay with me to help me, to just keep me company. So she is here now. Currently, I am a big, fat, stressed mess. Since I'm having all these complications with my pregnancy, I am just very stressed and overwhelmed because we are in no way, shape, or form prepared for this little girl at all. We still have to finish purchasing everything from our registry. Her nursery is not set up. Her nursery won't be set up until I'm 39 weeks. We don't even have her car seat yet, so that's next on the list to buy. And now that I am at risk to have her a lot sooner, which you guys will find out more about in my 33-week pregnancy update, I promise. I'm very stressed, I'm overwhelmed. I'm so nervous and scared that she's gonna be born before my husband's able to make it home and I'm gonna have to do it all on my own, on top of worrying about babysitters for my boys and who's gonna come stay with them and who's gonna stay with me while I'm in the hospital. It's just a big bundle of madness. And honestly, I really am trying to take it easy at home, but it's not easy at all. I still have my 4 boys that I need to tend to. I have my house that I need to tend to. I'm sure you see the boxes in the background. I'm still trying to pack up from Christmas, pick up toys, organize, pretty much just nest. So I asked you guys on Facebook and Instagram if you had any questions for me that you wanted me to answer in this life update, and honestly, I got more questions than I thought I was going to get, and I got harder questions than I thought I was gonna get, but I'm going to attempt to answer them all for you now. The first question I got was, why was I looking for somewhere to stay with the boys? If you don't have me on Facebook, which a lot of you probably don't because I really only have people on there that I know or have known in the past, but I was going through a little bit of a rough patch. I was just dealing with my emotions, feeling stressed and depressed and emotional, and I kind of wanted a new setting, a new environment, somewhere that I can just get away to and collect myself to get my mind right again. And sometimes that's what you need to do as a mom for yourself and for your kids. And a lot of people thought that me and my husband were splitting up and I was looking for somewhere else to live. And that's not the case. I wasn't looking for somewhere else to live. I just wanted somewhere to get away to be able to collect myself. Following this question, I got, what is the update with me and Brett? Brett is my husband, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, there was a little point in time, like I believe it was like a little 2-day period where we were going through a rough patch. It's really hard for us to deal with the distance between us. Communicating over the phone and text is probably the worst way ever to communicate with your partner or your spouse. And right now that's all we have. We have our phone, that's how we communicate. So the things we say come out to the other person like how we didn't mean to say it. I don't know if that makes sense. But for a 2-day period, we were going through a little bit of rough patch, and that's really all I even remember about it. It was so silly. The boys are supposed to be napping right now, but clearly that's not happening. We're completely fine right now. It's a new year. We decided to just leave everything in 2018 that was in 2018. So what happened in 2018 stayed in 2018. How am I feeling after all of these hospital trips? I am feeling drained. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed. This is the most that I've had to go to the hospital or the doctor, I feel like, my entire pregnancy. Let me see if I can count how many times I've been to the doctor or the hospital this week. So far I have been to the hospital 4 times, and I have to go another time tonight. So 5 out of 7 days of the week I've been either at the doctor or at the hospital, and it's just very stressful. Trying to find somebody to watch the boys so I can go to the hospital, which is necessary. Like, I want to make sure the baby inside of me is just as okay as the ones that are outside of me. So it's just a big fat ball of stress mess. How are baby and me doing today? So without going into too much detail so I don't spoil it for my 33-week pregnancy update video, today I'm honestly feeling a lot better than I have been the past week. And you can probably tell that from my energy and just my appearance, because I don't know, these past like 5 days I've looked like a homeless person. But the baby is doing fine so far that I know of. I'm going back to the hospital tonight for to be monitored again and to get a steroid shot, which I will talk about in my 33-week pregnancy update. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure your bell notification is turned on so you don't miss that video. Whew. All this talking on top of being like sick with a cold is just making my mouth so dry, you guys. Who's been watching the babies while I go to the hospital? And like I said in the intro, my grandma is staying with me. So far it has mostly been her who is watching the boys, which I feel so bad about. I know she's here to help me, but let's be honest, Grandma, I know you watched this video. You're a little bit on the older side and you're sick and you're not used to my 4 little babies. I understand. So I really do feel bad when I have to leave her to watch my kids. I don't know, I feel like they stress her out so much. I leave, she's fine, and I come back and she's just like an emotional, panicked wreck. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Grandma, go take a break. Even though I need to take a break, you go take a break. But right now, that's the only arrangements that I have. However, my dad and my sister are gonna come over tonight and be with the boys while I go back to the hospital. I'll probably be there for probably 3 hours being monitored, because that's what happens every time. It is no fun to sit in a hospital bed and just be hooked up to these squishy monitors and then just be sent home. So, am I planning on breastfeeding? I am 100,000 million bajillion % planning on breastfeeding exclusively, but I do plan to breastfeed for at least a year. Did I breastfeed any of my other children? So this is my breastfeeding history. It's not really exciting. is actually pretty lame and I'm embarrassed by it. But with my first son, I had him when I was 17, and I attempted to breastfeed one time and he didn't latch properly, so I just gave up. After that, I was like, maybe I'll try pumping. So I tried to pump 1 bottle of breast milk and it hurt so bad I gave up. And that breast milk probably sat in the fridge for a year. Disgusting, I know. With my second son, I just didn't even try breastfeeding. I didn't attempt it because of how miserably I failed the first time. My third son, I was 20 or 21 years old, and I really, really wanted to breastfeed him. I breastfed him for 2.5 weeks, I think, maybe 2 weeks, and then I just got so sick with what I thought was the flu. I thought I had the flu. One morning I woke up and I couldn't even open my eyes. I couldn't get out of bed. And turns out it was mastitis. Well, that's what I'm assuming. I never got a diagnosis, but after I stopped breastfeeding after that, the symptoms just cleared up, and that's what I'm assuming it was. With my fourth son, I wanted to breastfeed as well. I think I breastfed him for a week, if that, maybe a week and a half. And then my husband convinced me that it would be easier if I just formula fed, because trying to chase around the 3 boys that I already had and breastfeed a newborn, all while being a stay-at-home mom while my husband worked long hours, it just wasn't working. And I wish I never would have gave up. I wish he would have encouraged me, but he didn't. He's not really good at that kind of thing. But this baby, no matter what anybody tells me, no matter what struggles or obstacles I come across, oh, I don't even know what's happening. I plan to breastfeed. I don't plan to stop. I want to breastfeed. I want the bond, and I want to know that my baby is drinking what she's supposed to be drinking, something that's healthy for her, nothing that's gonna cause problems. So I'm gonna breastfeed. Did I ever suffer from postpartum depression, and how did I overcome it? I think I might have made a video on this before, like when I first started YouTube. I'm not sure. I'll have to make an updated one because it was probably really horrible. But I did suffer postpartum depression after my second son. It was so bad. I didn't even know what was going on with my body. And it took me 2 entire years to stop being depressed. One day I just kind of stopped being depressed, and that's when I assumed my postpartum depression ended. So I didn't really get treatment. I can't really tell you a way I overcame it because one day it went away. It took 2 years, but it went away. What's the hardest thing me and my husband have ever been through? And right now I could talk about 2 different situations, but I'm just gonna talk about the hardest situation for me. Right after I had my third son, he was, I wanna say a month old. My husband had an affair on me and he didn't wanna stop, so I had to leave. And we went through the nastiest divorce, I feel like. We were only apart for 2 months. He filed for divorce as soon as we split up, and I was a stay-at-home mom, so I had nothing. I had no money, I had no way to support my children, I had nowhere to go. It was just a nightmare for me. I went 7 days without eating or drinking. I don't know how I survived. I think it was the 7th day. I was just like gasping for air. I needed a drink of water. So I drank water and I was like, wow, I really want to live. I don't want to die. And from there on out, I just struggled. I was very sad. I was depressed. I was practically begging to be back with my husband the entire time he was with this other older woman. And I feel like what hurt most for me was just that he only wanted this other woman because she was older and she already had her life together. She had all the materialistic things, a house, a car, a nice job, and she didn't have any responsibilities, she didn't have any children. And then there's me, stay-at-home mom. I spent every second of every day taking care of my kids. I was a stay-at-home mom because that's how we afforded life, and I had no other option. I had no way to be like this other woman. And while he was with this other woman, he was also, I don't even know what to say, like giving me hope. How did we overcome it? So after all the nastiness and I don't really know what happened, but he ended up going to jail. And when he got out of jail, I was just so emotional, even though at the time I feel like I hated him so much. I was so emotional because I was thinking about my kids' futures, how they wouldn't have a dad in their life, and it just got to me and I felt so bad, so I wanted to do whatever I could to help him. And one day we just reconnected, we met up, and things kind of started where they left off. We gave each other a fresh start, and I'm not gonna lie, since then it has been so hard to just rekindle our connection and our marriage, but really it's about trust. In the beginning it was so hard to trust him. Even now it's so hard to trust, but we pick and choose our battles, and it's not always easy, it doesn't always work, but it's been 2 years since that situation and we're still here, we're still together. We have 2 more children. Yeah, 2 more children on top of the 3 that we already had. So that's that. Are there any things that I wanted to do as a mom before I was a mom that I didn't get to do? So I became a mom at 17. I wasn't really thinking about anything other than, oh my God, I have a child. I'm 17. How am I gonna do this? But there are definitely things that I wish I would have done with each of my children that I just didn't do because we weren't financially stable, we were young. I wish I would have got maternity pictures with all of them because I think it would be so amazing to look back on. I plan to get newborn photos done with my little girl, and I kind of am feeling bad about it because I didn't get newborn photos done with any of my boys. And it's not because I love them any less or because they're boys, it's just because we didn't have the money. And now we have the money, and I'm feeling mom guilt over it. Like, it's making me not even want to get newborn photos done of her, but I don't want to regret it like I do with my boys. Are we moving? And I can only assume this question stems from the post that I put on Facebook a couple weeks ago, looking for somewhere to go or stay. We are not moving, but I do have some exciting news. It's not set in stone, but I feel like I keep wanting to use like hashtag bring my hubby home because we're trying so hard right now to get him out of the oil fields and back home with us, a job back home. I think we finally found something. Like, we might have found something. I think he actually has a few things lined up that he's working on. So hopefully after the baby's born, he's taking a month off. After that month, I am just hoping and praying that he can stay. He doesn't have to leave, and we can just really be together as a family because that's all I want. Your house is huge and beautiful. How much do you pay for it? I don't really know exactly how to answer this, but for rent, gas, electric, solar, because we have solar panels, water, trash, it's over $2,000. And I know that's a crazy amount of money, and it is where most of our money goes into this house, but we did it for our kids. We did it so they can have a nice life. We did it so that they can have the room that they need to run around and play. And honestly, this house is our biggest accomplishment. Right now we only rent, but that's fine for us. That's all we need right now is to rent. And yeah. This next question is my favorite question out of all of them. I don't know why I'm so excited to answer it. I was asked, was it harder living in North Dakota with my husband where he works and having him but not having my family? Or is it harder living in Las Vegas where my family is and not having my husband? This question is kind of easy for me because I don't have, I mean, I have a lot of family, but they're not actively in my life. So they're all busy with their own lives. And I don't know, it was easier living in North Dakota where my husband was there to help me, whether it was only an hour a day. Like, we still saw him and he was there, still there every single day. And it didn't really bother me that I didn't have my family because, like I said, they're not all actively in my life. And the few, the two, the like less than I can count on 5 fingers who are actively in my life, we stayed connected every single day, whether it was over the phone, text, social media, we always stayed connected. So being in Las Vegas without my husband is so hard, so difficult for me, so emotionally stressful for me, because I have my family here, but they just aren't here like my husband would be here. I don't even know if that makes sense, but I would do anything in the world to have my husband be home with us. The boys are waking up now. I don't know if you can hear them in the background, but this seems to always happen to me. I still have another video to film that I'm probably not even gonna get to film now because, oh my God, what is on my window? Is that a feather? Anyways, this is the last question that I got asked. Did I plan on having all my children back to back, and would I do it any differently? I feel like some of them, I'm very, very happy I had them back to back. I'm so happy with their bond, their closeness. But then like, I feel like maybe my life would be a little bit less stressful if there was like a bigger age gap between some of them. So the fact that I am 22 with 5, it just blows my mind. I'm sure it blows your mind too, but oh, what is happening to me? Okay, I think I need to end this video. Thank you guys so much for all your questions. Is that the doorbell? Thank you guys so much for all your questions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I don't even know how many times I've said that in this video. Make sure your bell notification is turned on. I think down there. Let's see if I got it right this time. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.